Welcome to HD Rare Coins, your ultimate source for rare coins, fascinating history, and the thrill of discovery. From legendary pennies to hidden gems, we explore the world of numismatics one amazing coin at a time. In a quiet corner of everyday life, the 1996 UK 2 pence coin has carried with it a story far richer than its modest face value suggests. At first glance, it was just another coin rattling around in pockets, sliding unnoticed across counters, and disappearing into the depths of forgotten change jars. Yet hidden within its familiar copper-plated surface was a story of design evolution, national pride, unexpected rarity, and a surprising future that few could have predicted. The 2 pence coin had already enjoyed a place in British currency for more than 2 decades by 1996, introduced originally in 1971 during the United Kingdom's move to decimalisation. Its design was simple but elegant, featuring a badge of the Prince of Wales, 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, above a ribbon bearing the motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve. This image, rich with centuries of royal tradition, became an everyday sight to millions across the nation. In 1996, however, what seemed like another routine minting year quietly set the stage for something remarkable. This was a time when Britain was in transition culturally and economically. The country was preparing for a new millennium, the global economy was shifting, and small changes were taking place everywhere, even within the Royal Mint. Though millions of 2 pence coins were produced that year, what few realized was that minor shifts in production techniques and minting processes resulted in a small batch of exceptionally high-quality coins. These coins exhibited near-perfect strikes, dazzling luster, and almost magical levels of preservation. Collectors often speak of the phenomenon where everyday objects, untouched and unappreciated for years, suddenly reveal themselves to be hidden treasures. The 1996 2 pence fits this pattern beautifully. For years, it passed unnoticed, used and spent and forgotten. But among the millions, a tiny handful remained in pristine condition, untouched by circulation, tucked away by accident or by the instinct of a sharp-eyed saver. These few survivors would later captivate collectors and historians alike. One of the defining factors that elevated the 1996 2 pence to legendary status was its remarkable condition when found in mint state grades. Coins that avoided even the slightest blemish, abrasion, or loss of detail became objects of intense desire. Experts marveled at the sharpness of the strike, the depth of the relief on the feathers of the prince's badge, and the rich, even sheen of the copper plating, untouched by oxidation or wear. In a numismatic world where survival and condition are paramount, the 1996 2 pence emerged as a quiet superstar. As the years rolled by, more attention turned to the collectible potential of everyday British coins. Television programs, newspaper features, and online forums spread the word: certain coins from seemingly ordinary years could be worth far more than face value. Excitement grew around coins with low mintages, errors, or pristine states. Among these discoveries, the 1996 2 pence began appearing more frequently in discussions and auctions, surprising everyone with the high hammer prices it commanded. Collectors began to treasure the 1996 2 pence not just for its scarcity in top grades, but for what it symbolized: a moment frozen in time, a representation of the country on the cusp of transformation. In a rapidly modernizing world, the 2 pence served as a tactile connection to a Britain that still cherished its traditions even as it hurtled towards a digital future. Every detail of the coin, from the flowing feathers to the crisp motto, carried echoes of centuries past. As more pristine examples were professionally graded, the population reports from leading services revealed just how few survived at the highest tiers. Coins graded MS68 or better became the gold standard, attracting feverish bidding wars from collectors eager to own a piece of modern British numismatic history. Auction results stunned even seasoned experts, with records being shattered as each new example surfaced and changed hands. Word spread beyond Britain's shores. International collectors, drawn by the coin's beauty, rarity, and story, entered the fray. What had once been small, overlooked pieces of everyday commerce now crossed continents, ending up in prestigious collections from Europe to North America to Asia. The global reach of the 1996 2 pence was a testament to its universal appeal. It wasn't just a British coin anymore, it was a world treasure. The Royal Mint, ever aware of its rich history and the passion it inspires, acknowledged the importance of the 1996 2 pence. Special publications celebrating the best of British coinage often included nods to the humble 2p and its astonishing rise. Interviews with former mint officials shed light on the care taken in certain production runs and the pride craftsmen took in their work, even when creating coins destined for pocket change. For collectors, each 1996 2p coin became more than just a piece of metal. It was a reminder that sometimes, value isn't immediately obvious. It affirmed the belief that the ordinary could, over time, reveal itself to be extraordinary. That a simple coin, carried casually in a pocket decades ago, could one day hold the power to change someone's life. Stories began to surface of lucky individuals uncovering rare 1996 2p coins tucked away in forgotten drawers, between couch cushions, or mixed in with years-old collections. The thrill of discovery, the heart-pounding moment of realization, the rush to verify authenticity, it all added to the growing legend. Today, the finest examples of the 1996 UK 2p command astonishing values, with the most immaculate specimens fetching upwards of $175,000 at major auctions. It's a figure that seems almost surreal for a coin once worth merely 2p. Yet those who understand numismatics know that this value represents more than just rarity. It represents history, craftsmanship, survival, and the ever-burning hope that magic still exists in the world, sometimes hidden in the most unexpected places. The journey of the 1996 2p is a testament to patience, to the eye of the collector, and to the stories we attach to the objects we hold dear. It reminds us that sometimes, treasures don't announce themselves with fanfare. Sometimes, they sit quietly, waiting for someone to notice, to remember, and to recognize their true worth. Somewhere, another brilliant 1996 2p may be waiting still, tucked away and forgotten, ready to change a life. The allure of the 1996 2p coin only grew stronger as collectors delved deeper into the tiny details that set extraordinary coins apart from their ordinary counterparts. Every small imperfection, every hairline mark, every barely noticeable toning or scratch became critical in determining whether a coin was destined for greatness or resigned to obscurity. Grading agencies became the gatekeepers of value, with every MS-68 grade awarded considered a minor miracle. The challenge was not only finding a 1996 2p in decent shape but finding one that could withstand the intense scrutiny of expert numismatists armed with microscopes and decades of experience. The grading process itself became part of the mystique. Submissions poured into grading services from hopeful collectors who believed they might have stumbled upon a hidden treasure. Out of hundreds submitted, only a rare few would come back with grades high enough to warrant the attention of the most serious buyers. Each newly certified top-grade example made headlines in numismatic circles, fueling the dreams of those who still had jars of old coins tucked away in attics and closets. Perhaps, they thought, lightning could strike again. That in the collector's world, the human stories behind these coins were as valuable as the coins themselves. There were tales of retirees finding long-forgotten 2p coins while cleaning out childhood homes, stories of young numismatists spotting the telltale signs of a high-grade coin at casual flea markets, and of seasoned collectors who had spent decades searching before finally acquiring their prized 1996 gem. Every coin seemed to come with its own small adventure, a testament to the serendipity that often accompanies great discoveries. Dealers who once overlooked the 1996 2p found themselves reassessing their inventories, combing through stock with newfound respect for what might be hiding in plain sight. Coin shows buzzed with whispers about newly surfaced examples. Private sales, once the domain of gold sovereigns and ancient hammered coins, now occasionally featured copper-plated steel treasures from the 1990s, creating a delightful disruption in traditional markets. The economics of rarity also played their part. As more collectors competed for the finite supply of high-grade 1996 2p coins, prices escalated dramatically. What might have sold quietly for a few £100s in the early 2000s suddenly found itself commanding tens of thousands. Record-setting auctions lit up the numismatic world, each new sale pushing the boundaries of what collectors were willing to pay for the best of the best. The $175,000 milestone, once unthinkable, was not just achieved but celebrated, a crowning achievement for a humble coin that had far exceeded its original purpose. The media took notice, further feeding the frenzy. Articles in major newspapers and features on television programs brought the 1996 2p into the spotlight. Casual viewers marveled at how such a small and seemingly ordinary object could command such value, while seasoned collectors smiled knowingly at the rich complexities of the numismatic world. It wasn't just about scarcity. It was about perfection, about preservation, about the stories we attach to the things we choose to keep. In the heart of Britain, during the vibrant pulse of the early 1990s, a single copper-plated steel coin quietly entered circulation, destined to become more than just pocket change. It was 1994, a year marked by transition, innovation, and a world slowly stepping into the digital age. Britain itself was undergoing significant shifts. John Major was Prime Minister, the Channel Tunnel connecting the UK to France had just opened, and the buzz of new technology was reshaping every aspect of life. Amid these grand changes, millions of 1994 one-penny coins were struck, unnoticed by the crowds bustling through London streets, the students sitting in lecture halls, the shopkeepers counting tills at night. Yet among these ordinary coins lay a few extraordinary specimens, rare and precious, that collectors today would come to revere, and for which they would one day be willing to pay a staggering $123,000 to appreciate the true wonder of the 1994 UK one penny. One must first travel back to its roots. The one-penny coin is part of Britain's long and storied numismatic tradition, a direct descendant of the ancient pennies first minted under King Offa of Mercia in the 8th century. Over the centuries, the British penny had evolved in material, design, and significance. By the 20th century, after the Great Decimalization of 1971, the penny as it was once known had been transformed into a new, modern currency fit for a streamlined, efficient system. And yet, it carried within it echoes of history, of monarchs and markets, of ordinary lives stretching back more than 1,000 years. The 1994 one penny was a reflection of this tradition and modernity. Struck in copper-plated steel, replacing the earlier bronze composition used in previous decades, the coin had a distinctly reddish hue when new, deepening to a rich brown as it aged. Its reverse side bore the familiar crowned portcullis with chains, a centuries-old symbol associated with the Palace of Westminster. Designed by Christopher Ironside, a celebrated British artist and coin designer, the portcullis was not merely an ornament, it was a proud emblem of British heritage, strength, and governance. It linked the humble penny to the grandeur of Parliament and the long, unbroken tradition of British democracy. On the obverse side, the familiar visage of Queen Elizabeth II gazed serenely to the right, as she had done on British coins since her coronation in 1953. In 1994, her portrait was the third official effigy, designed by Raphael Maklauf, introduced in 1985. Maklauf's portrayal was elegant and regal, capturing both the youth and dignity of the Queen, adorned with the George IV state diadem. Around her image ran the inscription, Elizabeth II D.G.Reg.F.D, abbreviated Latin for, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. To millions, this was a commonplace sight, a coin slipped into bus fare slots, rattling in charity boxes, hidden in children's piggy banks. Few imagined it would ever be considered a treasure, yet in the meticulous world of minting, even the smallest flaw or the rarest deviation can elevate an ordinary coin into legend. And the 1994 penny was no exception. Although millions were minted, a handful exhibited unique traits, subtle anomalies caused during the striking process, or exceptionally well-preserved specimens that avoided the scratches, dents, and tarnishes that marred most circulating coins. Among these, some error coins and proof-like strikes began attracting the sharp eyes of numismatists. Small differences, a slight misalignment, a faint doubling of the date, an unusually strong strike giving mirror-like surfaces, set certain 1994 pennies apart from the masses. Meanwhile, collectors began to recognize that while the 1994 penny was a common year in mintage terms, high-grade examples in mint state condition were extraordinarily rare. Most coins, after all, were quickly scratched, worn, or spent into oblivion. It became a challenge to find a 1994 penny with perfect luster, sharp details, and undisturbed fields. As years turned into decades, the number of pristine examples dwindled further, increasing the allure for collectors worldwide. Auction houses began to notice. Rare grading certifications, MS 67 and higher, became prized possessions. But the story doesn't end with rarity alone. In 1994, the Royal Mint itself underwent subtle but important changes in its production techniques. As demand for coinage remained steady, the mint balanced efficiency with craftsmanship. Each blank planchet was carefully prepared, each die scrutinized for precision. Yet human error and the unpredictable nature of high-speed minting still allowed for exceptional pieces to slip through, pieces with ghost-like doubling, or dies polished so perfectly that coins reflected like mirrors. These accidental masterpieces would go unnoticed for years, sitting in penny jars or rattling in old dresser drawers, until keen-eyed collectors unearthed them. As collectors' fervor grew, so did the value of the finest 1994 one-penny examples. Specialist grading companies like NGC and PCGS began certifying high-grade specimens, and the price tags climbed steadily upward. Private sales whispered of four-figure sums, then five. When a nearly flawless 1994 one-penny surfaced at a major auction, the world of numismatics paid attention. Experts marveled at its perfect fields, its rich, unblemished copper color, its razor-sharp details on the Queen's portrait and the portcullis below. Bidding was fierce, fueled by the knowledge that such coins simply no longer existed outside private vaults. And when the hammer finally fell, it shattered expectations. The coin had sold for a staggering $123,000. That humble penny, once dropped without a thought into a shopkeeper's till, had become a piece of history, a gleaming reminder that in every handful of change, there lies a world of hidden stories, waiting to be discovered. The journey of the 1994 UK one penny from commonplace to coveted treasure is a testament to how even the smallest artifacts can carry monumental significance when seen through the right lens. Every coin has a story, but the story isn't written on the surface alone, it's buried in its creation, its journey through time, and its ultimate rediscovery. As the years moved on from 1994, few paused to think about the pennies jingling in their pockets. Yet quietly, imperceptibly, history was aging them, transforming ordinary pieces of currency into relics of a bygone era. Collectors, historians, and investors began to recognize a pattern emerging across the numismatic landscape. Coins from the late 20th century, once dismissed as too new or too common, were beginning to climb in value, especially those in pristine, untouched condition. The 1994 one penny, with its copper-plated surface still shimmering when protected from the elements, became a prime example of this shift. As inflation slowly eroded the purchasing power of coins and digital transactions became the norm, physical currency itself started to feel more precious, more nostalgic, more worth preserving. Behind each 1994 penny lies a fascinating intersection of metallurgy and craftsmanship. The shift from bronze to copper-plated steel had been made just a few years earlier, in 1992, to reduce production costs. Bronze, an alloy of copper, tin, and zinc, had grown too expensive for low-denomination coins. Steel, with its durability and cost efficiency, offered a modern solution, and by plating it with copper, the Royal Mint preserved the familiar warm appearance the public expected. Yet this change subtly altered the penny's nature. Unlike solid bronze coins, the steel core meant the penny was slightly magnetic, a small scientific curiosity that delighted schoolchildren and intrigued collectors.